The bodies of 3 workers at the ArcelorMittal plant have been found. That's after a building collapsed on them after an explosion in the early hours of yesterday morning. Our reporter, Govan Whittles, is there now. Govan, what have you managed to find out about what happened?
Yeah, it's still scant on details, Jane, on exactly how this collapse of on the coke battery happened here at the ArcelorMittal plant. As you said, they've now confirmed that the body of the 3rd worker was recovered in the early hours of the morning. But this has been a devastating collapse, not only for the workers and their families and the other employees here at ArcelorMittal, but also the company, which took a knock of about 9% on its share price yesterday because of this. It's the 3rd big incident at this plant in 12 months, the first having been a gas leak, which led to a major fire, then power cables causing a major incident, which also led to a fire, and now the collapse of the steel on top of the coke battery and the control room where these workers are. And of course, this plant here is almost 60 years old. The former ISCO used to be owned by the government. They sold it off. It's a private company now. And Numsa still maintaining a huge representation here. And this is where they make flat steel. It's the biggest supplier of flat steel in sub-Saharan Africa, turning iron ore as well as coke and dolomite into flat steel. I've got the regional secretary of the Sedibeng region for Numsa, Mr. Kabelo Ramokhatali, here with me. Mr. Ramokhatali, thank you so much for your time. Just give us some details on exactly what happened with the last leg of the recovery this morning that led to the operation being finished.
No, thank you very much. Morning to the viewers of eNCA. First, maybe we should then send our condolences to the family and the friends of the deceased. Indeed, as Numsa, we are deeply send our deeply condolences to the family because of this incident. We are not comfortable. We have been disappointed. We feel that this incident could have been actually avoided if the precautionary measures were put in place.
What can you tell us about the workers that were in the control room?
Okay. Now, what happened, we were informed by our members, the shop steward of this company, around 2 o'clock early in the morning, there was some explosion in the company. Then 3 employees were trapped in after the building fell into the control room. And then that caused actually the death of the 3 employees.
Do you know what caused the explosion?
No, at this stage we can't confirm. Maybe we can just speculate. But obviously the building cannot fall itself. There might be some explosion, by the way. There must be something that caused that incident.
So I'll just ask you to please lift up your mask over your nose as we continue the interview. And then there's been concerns about the structural integrity of the building, and particularly around the area where the collapse happened. People saying, Solidarity, the union, saying that there had been cracks observed in the building due to its old nature ahead of the collapse. As Numsa, what do you know about that?
Yes, I think that's correct, because yesterday I was there, I was also in that plant, and then we could observe those building that has cracked. I mean, this building, as you indicated, it has more than 50 years old, so you need to revamp the building if that is the case. But what has been happening here at Mittal, they have just maintaining the building, so this building is very old, and they're working conducive, I must say. I was there, and then I was not happy. They are not conducive, the working condition, the working environment, in fact, is not conducive at all.
So what are you doing about your concerns, and what are you saying to your members about those concerns?
No, I think what we are going to do after this incident, we are going to conduct a thorough investigation, and after that investigation, we'll embark on an inquiry where we'll establish as to what, not only in that coke oven, but the whole plant. We will do some recommendation. I think we have already engaged the Department of Labor, and then today I believe that there will be some investigation or inspection after this incident, and from there we'll take it from there.
Finally, coming back to the recoveries of the bodies then, this morning the final body was recovered. Numsa had said that the company didn't want to bring in outside help. The company believed it could do it on its own. Could you tell us exactly who was responsible for the recovery of the bodies, and how did that play out?
Okay. What happened yesterday when we arrived here, we convened a meeting with the company, raising a concern because it was only few employees who are working here. I'm referring to the extinguisher team and also the health and safety reps or committee that was actually assisting company to recover those bodies. We asked the company as to why they can't find any external rescue team, a specialized rescue team. And then they said no, around Val they have tried, but there were no one who is available. But we believe that that is not true, because I think we have a lot of rescue team. But we said to the company they should have at least conducted the mining process so that they can refer them to the rescue team, specialized rescue team that deals, because the same situation that has occurred here, exactly the same that is happening in the mining industry, whether it's an open cast. And then we had to, in fact, our members had to volunteer. And I think it was more than 30 employees who volunteered to assist the company to retrieve those bodies. And as we speak now, I'm told that those employees are saying, because the management is not, the executive management doesn't care about the life being of the employee and the health and safety, and they will not resume their duties, and then we need to go and address them now. And because they are so frustrated. I mean, if you are working with your colleague and then he's got injured, and then the management, instead of going outside, because we believe that if this was an executive manager or executive director who was trapped there, I think the company could have tried to find a specialized rescue team to rescue that individual. But they cannot rely on their own employees who don't have the specialized skill to deal with that kind of situation.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kabelo Ramakgatali. We're out of time for now, but that's the version from Numsa in terms of how these bodies were rescued. It's still a very fluid situation, and did speak to the ArcelorMittal spokesperson who said that we're releasing a statement within the next while explaining exactly how the recovery of the bodies happened. At this stage, of course, they're informing the families of the deceased, and thereafter they would be releasing the names. So for now, it's back to you, Jen.